Prince, Clumsy, or the Soar and the Rose on 16-bit machines, is a flick screen aardvark in the style of Ghosts and Goblins that has some nice ideas, but is somewhat scuppered by being incredibly short. You are the Spanner Prince who must jump, shoot, and collect your way to freeing the princess from her castle prison. Find keys and better weapons as you progress to unlock portcullises and defeat the enemies quicker. On the AMIGA, the graphics are passable for a budget game with some well-drawn backgrounds and some imagination in the sprites, even if they are mostly poorly animated. Sound is definitely a highlight with an ominous, gothic chiptune that fits the action perfectly. The gameplay is where it struggles, however. It wears its influences on its sleeve, but the flick screen nature of the game makes it far harder than it should be with constantly respawning enemies, making taking damage impossible to mitigate. The Prince handles well enough and the whole thing plays smoothly, but it is incredibly short, sub 7 minutes, once you nail down enemy patterns, as it's a very linear experience. Even at £7, this is hard to recommend as a combination of frustration and brevity do not a good game make. The 64 version is pretty much identical other than the name being Prince Clumsy, and there being no music during the game, which is disappointing. Graphics are a little chunky but convey the tone well, and there is good use of color throughout the game. Sound is very disappointing with the title chiptune, but nothing but weak effects during the game. It also plays very much like the AMIGA version with good controls and fair collision detection as you jump around. Unfortunately, it is also the same length, meaning a sub 10-minute completion time. I think the 64 version just about wins out as it's cheaper at £3 and plays a touch better than its big brother. However, it's hard to recommend either title to anyone but the most devoted of Ghosts and Goblins style game fans.